You know, this is the first rendition of this video was like our most watched video.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad we do this video multiple times.
This is only the second time we've done it in like 5 years.
Yeah, I feel
now,
like
unlike some channels who repeat it once a year, this is a good video topic.
Yeah, and I think people enjoy also understanding like what's changing and how we've evolved.
Yeah.
And like maybe we get bored with stuff, and then so it is an interesting subject, and I like watching other people's videos of this stuff.
But first, click that subscribe button.
Please.
We live stream a lot. Click the bell.
Yeah.
Also, we will be live streaming on a new channel very soon. It's our Backcountry BSing podcast channel. Check that out. There'll be a link in the description. Also, if you're into the podcast only version, it's all up there. It's up there for you.
Yep. And
Listen to it.
Rate us on iTunes.
Listen to it on your commute. If you're commuting to work anymore, I don't know if people even do that anymore.
What's that?
Listen to it while you're working out. If you want some SBO merch, go check that out. Back to the video. So we are talking about gear that we always bring and never use. And you would think after backpacking for like 10 years, this would never happen. But it does happen.
Yeah.
And we did this video in like 2018 or maybe even 2017. And it was really good, and it kind of forced us to reflect on the stuff we bring, and we wanted to shoot an update.
Yep.
So this is the
2021
Reloaded Volume 2
Pandemic
sequel,
update.
Pandemic special, gear we bring and never use. So there is the first kind of collection of items. Now this is what I bring and never use. Now, because Andy and I backpack together, there is a bunch of items that I bring and never use, but only because we're always together or we're with other people and they bring these things and I use them. So, for instance, I always bring bear line. I never use my bear line.
Right.
Because we got yours.
Yeah, I'm always using mine.
You, for the most part, have always been bringing a stove, but we've been using the canister stove.
Yeah, you know what's hilarious? I was thinking about that too. Because I've been using your stove, I haven't brought a stove like at all this year.
So that doesn't apply to you, because you stopped bringing it because you weren't using it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So another thing that I always bring and most of the time never use is my water filter. Because we use yours.
Yeah.
Or we're using mine. Now, I'm always going to keep bringing these things, although honestly, like, you stop bringing the stove. If we're in a group with 3 people, there's no reason to bring 3 Sawyer squeezes. 2's good.
Yeah, but then there's also this thing.
I know. You got to make sure you go with people that are cool and people aren't like, being really annoying about borrowing stuff.
Yeah.
I know. But it is so inefficient to bring stuff you don't ever use,
But there's also the argument of like maybe some emergency supplies where
we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Well, I'm there.
Okay, we're there. These items, we don't always bring them, but when we bring them, we almost never use them.
Yeah.
This is a cop-out answer. Emergency things. Bear spray.
Yeah, we're not spraying bears.
We're not just like bringing this to use it. The SOS, the Garmin InReach, like those are still items I'm going to bring even though I don't use them.
Yeah.
The water filter, the bear line, meh.
I would say a lot of 99% of my first aid kit never gets used.
That was another one of my items.
Yeah, here's another.
Dude, I have an extra lighter in my pack.
I know.
I have literally not used in like 7 years.
I know. I'm the same way.
It's so stupid. Bring it though.
Well, I have an extra lighter that's covered in Leuco tape that sits in my first aid kit, a mini Bic that I have never
And
touched.
if you're solo, bring it. I get it. You always want backup. But we never need it. We always have extra lighters.
So here's a funny one I keep a knife in my like miscellaneous pouch.
That's another one of my items.
I never use it. Now I have brought like a few knives here and there for like special cooking.
Yeah.
But the knife that which is a DermaSafe razor blade, and that's like generally the only thing I'll carry. I've never used it.
Yeah, and I've been bringing the Kershaw because it's a sweet knife and it's super sharp and it's not that heavy. But I've been using the Swiss Army I brought, or like knives are a good one. you never use.
Yeah.
You know,
or very little.
And
use.
the first aid kit was also something I wanted to bring up because I mean 99% of that. But you're
But
not
that's
gonna
good.
You're not gonna not get Randy Jackson's autograph. You're not gonna not bring a first aid kit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cop out thing. Here's one thing I literally always bring, and I never use, never had to, is the spare pair of underwear I always bring. I've never used them.
I don't bring them.
Maybe I don't know. I was going to say the spare pair of socks, but I almost always end up using the spare pair of socks.
I go through socks.
Because stuff
and
gets
right.
wet.
Yeah.
But I always bring an extra pair of socks. I always bring an extra pair of underwear, and I always bring an extra t-shirt. The t-shirt and the socks get used. The underwear doesn't, because a lot of times I'll bring the camp shorts, and I'll slip into those. But you don't want to be somewhere and not have an extra pair of underwear.
Yeah.
But I never use it. That's the only clothing item, though, I bring and never use.
You want to hear a weird one for me?
Yeah, I do.
So I don't want to say never use. I'm going to say extremely rare.
Okay.
Buff.
I've been wearing mine.
I know. I bring it every single time. Very, very rarely will I ever use it. And the reason why is because I bring a melly.
You bring the handkerchief too.
I bring the melly and the handkerchief, which is just a bandana. And then
Right.
so I'll sleep in the melly, and then when my head gets cold, I'll just cinch up the melly around. So I don't need it.
Yeah.
But I always bring it.
Yeah, I've been doing the opposite. I used to always bring my buff and never use it. Now I'm always bringing the buff and I'm always wearing it. And like on these trips we've got this summer, and when we're going to be doing more open exposed stuff, the buff is awesome. That's a good one though. Mm-hmm. So I now have a couple items, and we've kind of hit on a little bit of these, but some of these are the items I always bring, never use, but will always bring. And the first item, you might know what this is. Always brought it. I've never had to use it. I'll always bring it. And I had to use it last month. Is the patch kit.
Oh yeah. That was hilarious. Well, not hilarious, but
I you know what though? I gotta hand it. So I got these. I'm talking about a patch kit for a sleeping pad. Always carry the patch kit.
Yeah.
I've been using a sleeping pad on and off for 10 years. Always carrying the patch kit. Never had to use it. Getting that pad.
You said
like,
it was right on top of
like,
the
oh wait,
root.
I'll bleep this out. You're just like, you know? And it is the worst feeling in the world because that's
a trip
It's
ender.
a trip ender.
And you're finding out that your sleeping pad has a hole in it when you go to sleep. So it's like at night.
It's the worst.
But my God, did that patch kit work well?
And now, that's one thing I want to say. The Lightsmith Tenacious Tape patch kits. I have since used that sleeping pad many times. My old McKelvey Bros Outdoors took it on a trip for a week, and they just used it like in a hotel room for a week. Those patch kits, if you got a sleeping pad, they're like 80 cents.
Yeah, you can get them on Amazon too. You can't you can't get the Lightsmith ones, but you can get like a Tenacious Tape patch kit.
Get the Lightsmith ones. Support Lightsmith.
Yeah.
But sidebar, they're like $1. Buy the Tenacious Tape patch kits for the air mattress, air pad. Oh my God, they work so well. So always bring in a patch kit, never needing to use it. Second thing, always bring in, never needed it, still always bringing it, spare O-ring for the Sawyer squeeze.
Yeah.
We've never had to use one yet.
Yeah.
That's also a trip ender.
Yeah. I have one as well, and never had to use it. Now we have had a Sawyer squeeze where like the O-ring kept coming off.
But we could always get the O-ring and put it back on.
Right, and then
Yeah.
So it was a real thing.
Yeah.
But that is a trip.
That's a trip ender. So, and that's I don't know if you need to go buy one, but inevitably you're gonna have to buy a new Sawyer squeeze. Just keep the O-ring from the old one and keep it in your first aid kit.
Yeah.
Another thing that I always bring, never needed to use it, weirdly, but still always bringing it, extra thing of chapstick. It's been in my first aid kit with the lighter for like 8 years.
See, I've gotten into my emergency chapstick multiple times.
Well, see, I bring 2 chapsticks. So that backup one's a third.
Oh, see, I've forgotten chapstick, and I'm like, oh my God. And I've got
I've
got the little like Joshua tree.
Yeah,
balm.
the tiny one.
Oh, it's so good. It's just like, oh, thank God I had this in my first aid kit.
Yeah. So that's just a lot of little knick-knacky things.
Yeah.
You know, other than like the SOS stuff and some of the clothing stuff, we are pretty good about using what we bring. But I mean, we just listed off 12 things probably.
Yeah, they're all mainly like really small, tiny things. So.
Yeah. There's nothing. We've gotten out of the habit of like really bringing unnecessary stuff. And that is like when you first get into backpacking, you just bring everything. And honestly, I tell people, bring what is going to make you comfortable. It doesn't, who cares if you're bringing 4 extra pounds of clothes?
Yeah,
like
you'll dial it back eventually.
You'll dial it back, and you don't want to have to worry. And if bringing extra stuff causes you to not worry and therefore have a better trip, just bring it. Don't worry about it. Over time, you're gonna like realize, oh, I'm bringing this and not using it. I don't ever need it. So even then, even after this video, like I'm not bringing bear line. If I'm going with you, or you're not bringing, there's no reason for both of us to bring bear line. You know, in the rare event we need extra cordage, like my bear line's 50 feet, we can cut it in half, you know, like, so things like that. Even now, after backpacking for like 10 years, we don't need it. So I'm going to stop bringing it. And it's kind of infuriating bringing things and not needing them.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you have anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
I'm trying to think, you know, there's a lot of things we bring, but we've at least sporadically used them, you know, like even I've got the cast iron, the tiny little cast iron that I used to bring. I've brought and used that. We've got a wood burning stove. We've brought it and used it. You know, like I was going through.
But those things were like we built a trip around that.
That's true.
So.
That's true. So that doesn't count. The biggest thing I think that a lot of people bring at first that they don't need is extra clothing.
Yeah,
that's the first thing.
Definitely extra clothing.
And that's a really heavy component to a kit.
Yeah.
And honestly, now that I'm saying it, I have, and this is kind of infuriating too, because it's just dead weight. I have literally never gone on a trip and eaten all the food I brought.
I've come close.
But and you should always bring extra food.
Yeah.
But food and extra clothing, it's heavy. I mean, food especially can be really dense and heavy, but I always bring food that I don't end up eating, like always.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know if I would change that. But
No,
it does kind of piss you off. Like you go on a trip like 5 days and like, there's like that protein bar that sits in your food bag for 5 days. And it's like disgusting. And it's like, I'm not eating this. And like,
you have like the emergency packet of oatmeal in there and you're just like, I'm not eating that crap.
All right.
All right.
That it? We got to get a live stream going here.
Let's get out of here.
All right. Thank you for watching. You know,
thanks, folks.
Let us know what you bring and don't use. Put it in the comments. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
The backpacking season for 2021 is here, so there'll be more trip videos. But we love talking about gear. We love reflecting. You know, continuous improvement.
Yeah.
Continuous improvement.
Right.
All right. That is it. Subscribe, check out the podcast, get some merch. People are buying hoodies.
Yeah,
people are buying hoodies.
I know.
They're comfy.
Hoodies are in.
Yeah.
Man.
No one has to dress for work anymore.
Yeah.
So get your SEO.
Should we do joggers?
I've thought about joggers actually. Yeah, we should. All right. That's it. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.